are coming to you live from our Auckland Park studios in the heart of Johannesburg. This is Prime News on SABC 3, and here's what's dominating in your leads at this hour.
One of those consequences of the need for me to have my rights protected.
Investigating Directorate against Corruption head, Advocate Andrea Johnson, has invoked her constitutional right not to self-incriminate during her appearance at the Madlanga Commission.
When they alighted, they drew out their AK-47s.
The state's witness in the case against Vusimuzi Cat Matlala and 4 others say the scene at the Centurion Golf Estate where businessman Joe Sibanyoni was allegedly shot at looked and felt like a fight scene. And the Western Cape High Court is expected to give its judgment on Friday on whether or not President Ramaphosa's urgent bid to halt the work of Parliament's impeachment committee was successful. It's just gone 8 o'clock and you are watching Prime News on SABC 3. Good evening and welcome to it. My name is Beki Mutumomolete and your sign language interpreter with me in studio today is Novuyo Fihlani. Let's chart a course together through the stories that are influencing the globe, and starting off with your leads. IDEC head, Advocate Andrea Johnson, has invoked her right to remain silent against self-incrimination amid allegations by the Hawks and Witness O statements which implicate her in alleged interference and defeating the ends of justice. This relates to her handling of a criminal complaint against Major General Feroz Khan. The Commission heard that Advocate Johnson allegedly provided Major General Khan with the details of an assault and an intimidation case in which Khan is the accused. This raises questions of alleged impropriety.
IDEC head, Advocate Andrea Johnson, who holds the view that the Madlanga Commission's fact-finding mandate does not override her constitutional rights, has invoked her right against self-incrimination, against allegations of improper conduct, interference, as well as defeating the ends of justice that were leveled against her for the manner in which she handled a criminal complaint against Major General Feroz Khan. This is the matter is now before the NPA.
Now that the matter is before the NPA, on the basis set out above, for a decision on whether I should or not be prosecuted, various consequences emerge. One of those consequences of the need for me to have my rights protected.
The right Johnson seeks to assert was put to the test, with Johnson being asked to consider it overnight.
That the right she seeks to assert is not the right afforded any person interrogated by the investigating director or the directorate. And I wanted to understand if my understanding is correct or whether there is the same right.
While Johnson ponders on this test, the Commission shifted the subject to senior IDEC investigator Brian Pareachi's claim that he never had sight of the Section 27 referral in the probe into Brigadier Dineo Mukwele's appointment.
I don't know why he would not have seen this one. I also heard when he testified that he said he had not had access to it.
The hearings continue. Kani Mapanga, SABC News, Pretoria.
Next up, the state's witness in the case against Vusimuzi Cat Matlala and 4 others says the scene at the Centurion Golf Estate where businessman Joe Sibanyoni was allegedly shot at looked and felt like a fight scene. Matlala and co-accused are on trial at the Johannesburg High Court for allegedly conspiring and attempting to kill businessman Joe Sibanyoni, music producer Sienki Mukubung and socialite Tebogo Thobejane. The witness says he had to fire 15 rounds of ammunition to protect himself against unknown gunmen.
Tiego Mabusela and Mosakekana are allegedly the gunmen behind the shooting of businessman Joe Sibanyoni in 2022. The prosecution says the gunmen on that night were driving a white BMW. The state's first witness, Bethwel Gele, agrees.
It came and packed where at the car park where there was a Ferrari and a Golf 7. And then 2 male people alighted from that motor vehicle.
AK-47.
When they alighted, they drew out their AK-47s.
Firstly, shoot babon ukuthi ngathi ngibabonile. Ibullet lokuqala lingmiss.
Then they saw that I've spotted them or saw them, and then I was missed by the first bullet.
Cele says the gunmen were in and out in less than 6 minutes. The counsel of the alleged hitman, Mosakekana, questioned Cele's memory of the events.
You've materially contradicted yourself in your evidence in court and statement stated under oath.
The defense successfully objected to the state showing the video of that night. They wanted to be authenticated by an expert before it can be admitted as evidence in court. Neria Hlakotza, SABC News, Johannesburg.
The suspended Ekurhuleni Metro Police Deputy Chief, Julius Mkhwanazi, and Witness K have been granted bail of 5,000 rand each. Both face charges of conspiracy to commit robbery, robbery with aggravated circumstances, and fraud. This incident relates to the 2023 robbery in Killarney, Johannesburg, where precious stones worth 15 million rand were taken.
Johannesburg Magistrates Court found that both the suspended Ekurhuleni Metro Police Deputy Chief Julius Mkhwanazi and Witness K are not flight risks and will not evade trial. Mkhwanazi is to report to the Alberton Police Station and Witness K to the Bracken Downs Police Station every Monday between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.
The court have considered to grant bail by the amount of 5,000 rand. Each of them same as the applicants that are already been released on bail.
And the other bail conditions include?
Bail conditions are as follows: not to communicate with the witnesses directly or indirectly, and not to interfere with the witnesses or to intimidate. Both of you have to hand over your passport to the investigating officer or to the prosecution.
Well, Mkhwanazi's lawyers had argued that he had previously complied with bail conditions in the other legal woes that he is facing and should be eligible for bail. While Witness K's legal team argued that the state did not present any evidence that suggests she would commit a Schedule I offence should she be granted bail. The matter has been postponed to August the 25th for further investigations. They will join the 2 other accused, EMPD official Adrian McKenzie and former EMPD official Kersha Lee Stolz, who were previously granted bail of 5,000 rand each. Crisalda Lewis, SABC News at the Johannesburg Magistrates Court.
To this now, Crime Intelligence Officer Colonel Ishmael Dawood will be spending the next few days at the Sandton Police Station after Magistrate Hombakazi Twele granted his application to be detained in Sandton. He handed himself over at the Hillbrow Police Station on Tuesday after he was turned away by the Sandton Police on Monday. Dawood, who is part of the kidnapping task team, faces charges of intimidation and extortion.
I am of the view that it would be a gross miscarriage of justice to force the state into a Schedule 5 hearing without their records. However, because the accused is a serving SAP member whose identity is known, a lengthy 7-day period of postponement is unwarranted. The state is granted a short postponement to finalize its work. The order is that this matter will be postponed for a period of 3 days for a formal opposed Schedule 5 bail application.
I am accusing the investigating team of sensationalizing this matter like they did from the start. This matter originated in March of 2025. The accused deposed to a warning statement on the merits of the case, denying any criminality already in April 2025. He, at all times, with his legal representatives, of which one is sitting with me, is Advocate Sauce. I'll refer to him again later. They filed his warning statement already in April 2025.
When we return, the Western Cape High Court is expected to give its judgment on Friday on whether or not President Ramaphosa's urgent bid to halt the work of Parliament's impeachment committee was successful. Welcome back to Prime News on SABC 3. The Western Cape High Court is expected to give its judgment on Friday on whether or not President Cyril Ramaphosa's urgent bid to halt the work of Parliament's impeachment committee was successful. Ramaphosa wants the committee to pause its work pending his application to review the Section 89 independent panel's report that found that he may have a case to answer for the Phala theft. The matter was heard by a full bench of the court over 2 days last week.
Parliament is currently in recess. The committee is meeting virtually on Wednesday to appoint the evidence leader. Analysts have weighed in on why the committee needs to carefully consider who will get the job.
The committee would want people with expertise so that at least they can be able to lead evidence in this complex matter, especially a matter that involves a sitting president, that to be impeached or not to be impeached.
Vimba says aside from professional requirements, the evidence leader needs to be impartial and able to weigh up all testimony objectively. His colleague, Professor Zwelenzima Ndevu from the School of Public Leadership at Stellenbosch University agrees.
It is also to ensure that that particular individual is not conflicted in any way with the work that is going to be undertaken by the committee.
Both say the evidence leader must be in good standing in order to bring credibility to the process. Another key requirement is someone who understands the mandate of the committee. This will of course be determined by the terms of reference, which is also on the agenda for Wednesday's meeting. Abra Barbia, SABC News, Parliament.
Former Statistician General Dr. Padi Lehohla warns that South Africa's soaring unemployment and poverty levels pose a direct threat to the country's democratic future. Speaking at the Electoral Commission's Thought Leadership Seminar, which focused on how labour market changes impact voter turnout, Lehohla criticized politicians for ignoring stark socio-economic realities, arguing that widespread poverty is driving growing voter apathy across the nation.
Are there as the evidence, but they should look at their relatives in the face, because each one of us as black people, we have a relative somewhere who cannot afford food, who cannot, and we avoid even going to visit them.
The Electoral Commission says South Africa has experienced a notable decline in voter turnout and shifting patterns of electoral participation over time that needs attention. With about 4 months to go before the local government elections, the Electoral Commission hosted a thought leadership seminar looking at the relationship between evolving labour market dynamics and voter participation.
The surveys show that some of the explanation for voter disaffection, not disinterest or apathy, but disaffection with elections, is that when they do a cost-benefit analysis, they feel that they are the losers, whereas the people they vote in come out as an elite class of people who prefer their own personal security in blue lights rather than voting in favor of budgets that give bread to the voters themselves. So that's a very influential factor. That service delivery has been, or the lack of it, has been a deterrent. So why should people vote if they don't get anything out of it?
The seminar providing a high-level platform for critical engagements ahead of the 2026 local government elections, with the public urged to take advantage of the voter registration weekend of the 1st and 2nd of August to go register for the upcoming polls. Statistician General encouraging politicians and those in the electoral ecosystem to be intentional in following the numbers and solving for the country's high unemployment rate that has been described as a threat to the upcoming polls and South Africa's electoral democracy. I'm Matlala for SABC News in Irene Centurion.
To this now, the winter initiation season has been marred by the deaths of 43 initiates across South Africa. According to the CRL Rights Commission, the highest number of fatalities were recorded in Mpumalanga.
Been lost during this year's winter initiation season, with 43 young men dying while undergoing the traditional rite of passage into manhood.
We're sending our deepest condolences to the 43 families who have lost their loved ones through this very sacred process of initiation. And we wish all those families, especially Amazibasa, the mothers of those boys, that they heal.
The Commission's investigations show that Mpumalanga, Gauteng, the Free State and Northwest recorded the highest number of fatalities.
I think these deaths have happened in both legal and illegal schools, and it's a function of the provinces.
The CRL Rights Commission says it will establish an independent investigative mechanism known as the Section 7 Committee to investigate the deaths and ensure accountability for any violations linked to the initiation season. Mbalentle Mthethwa, SABC News, Johannesburg.
When we return, FIFA has confirmed a formal ethics investigation into Argentina following ugly scenes at the end of the World Cup final in New Jersey. More on this coming up after the break. Thank you for staying with us. Renewed hostilities between the U.S. and Iran are heightening fears of a wider regional conflict, with fresh military strikes and threats of retaliation disrupting shipping through the Strait of Hormuz, a key route for global oil supplies. The U.S. has carried out a 10th consecutive night of strikes on Iranian military targets, saying that the operations are aimed at weakening Tehran's ability to attack commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. President Donald Trump has vowed a strong response after 3 U.S. service members were killed and nearly 100 injured in recent Iranian attacks across the region. While in a separate diplomatic development, Lebanese President Joseph Aoun is expected at the White House after Israel and Lebanon signed a U.S.-mediated framework agreement aimed at reducing cross-border hostilities. To this now, at least 146 people have died of malaria in the Western Democratic Republic of Congo since the beginning of this year. The surge comes as the country battles an Ebola outbreak that has killed more than 900 people in northeastern DRC since May.
Since January, more than 300,000 people have been infected with malaria in the DRC's western province of Kwilu alone. The provincial health minister says most of them had symptoms of fever, abdominal pain and vomiting, but almost 150 are known to have died. Samples from infected patients were taken to the national laboratory in the capital Kinshasa, where they tested positive for malaria. Health officials say infectious diseases have been ruled out. The malaria outbreak has been overshadowed by the Ebola outbreak, which has spread rapidly in the northeast of the DRC since it was declared in mid-May. The rising number of Ebola cases has prompted the Canadian government to temporarily deny entry to foreign nationals who have been to the DRC within the previous 21 days. Canadian officials say the move is aimed at preventing the spread of Ebola. The World Health Organization declared a global health emergency due to the Ebola outbreak in the DRC on May 17, warning neighboring countries to strengthen surveillance and preparedness. But the WHO advised countries to avoid imposing travel restrictions, saying the move discourages transparency in reporting new Ebola cases. However, their call has gone unheeded as the number of Ebola cases continues to rise in the DRC. Chris Ochamringa, SABC News, Kinshasa.
It is now time for us to dash over to the weather desk to take a quick look at what the skies hold in store for us. Your forecast is coming up next.
Very good evening to you. Let's take a look at all your weather details. We've got some cloud cover along the western coastline in towards the southern coastline overnight. Otherwise, clear skies through the northern Cape, central parts of South Africa, east coast and northeastern parts of our country. Ahead towards tomorrow, and it's going to be a sunny day for most parts, especially in the central parts of South Africa. Some fog patches are expected along the eastern escarpment. Please drive carefully in those areas. Wind speeds around 30 kilometers an hour for the east coast and in towards the western coastline, where we've got fog patches and partly cloudy skies for the western parts of the country. Ahead towards your temperatures, and Johannesburg drops to an overnight low of about 6 degrees but warms up to a sunny 21 tomorrow. Pretoria up to about 24 degrees through the afternoon. And in Limpopo you can expect a warm day as well with 25 in Zanin, Polokwane 7 overnight, 23 expected on Wednesday. Now in towards Mpumalanga we've got some fog patches in the morning. Carolina up to 21, Ermelo up to 21 as well. And as we head southwards now along towards the coastline, the east coast, KwaZulu-Natal, Richards Bay, warm tomorrow, 14 overnight, 28. The maximum tomorrow. Durban up to 25, Pietermaritzburg up to 27. Dry conditions expected in that province as well as in the Eastern Cape, with Gqeberha dropping down to 8 degrees overnight, but a sunny 20 is expected for you tomorrow. Komane up to about 25 in the central parts of that province. In the Western Cape, partly cloudy skies on the southern and western parts of the coastline. Beaufort West through the interior up to 19, whilst Cape Town is expected to warm up to 15. That's a chilly day after dropping to 8 degrees overnight. Sunny conditions and warm temperatures in the northern parts of the Northern Cape, 29 in Uppington after dropping to 4 overnight. Sutherland, a very cold -5 this evening, up to just 14 tomorrow. And in the central parts of South Africa, Bloemfontein, expecting a dry day with Volcom up to 25, Bloemfontein up to 23, dropping down to 1 degree overnight. Bethlehem and Vicksburg below freezing overnight. And in towards the northwest province, we've got sunny skies throughout the province. Tosca up to 26, Lichtenburg up to 21, Mahikeng 6 overnight, and 27 is expected on Wednesday afternoon. That's it from me. Keep well.
That is a wrap for this evening, and we thank you for your audience. We are back with you again tomorrow evening, same time, same place. Until then, from myself, Becky, and the team, it is good night and stay ahead of the curve.